Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is the Rogue Ghost, and you're tuning into episode 4 of what we've called The Story Behind the Crime. If you're a fan of chilling true crime stories, mysterious disappearances, and supernatural twists, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Your support helps us continue to bring these incredible stories to life. If you've got a theory, thoughts on today's case, or a suggestion for a future episode, drop it in the comments below. I love hearing from you all. All right, let's get into it. Story 1: The Vanishing of Susan Powell. In December 2009, Susan Powell, a loving mother of two, vanished without a trace from her home in West Valley City, Utah. The events surrounding her disappearance were horrifying, riddled with bizarre details, and culminated in a tragedy that still chills investigators and true crime enthusiasts alike. Susan's case is not just about a missing person. It's about the dark shadows that can lurk within a seemingly ordinary family. Susan Cox met Josh Powell at a church gathering in 2000. She was captivated by his charm and drive, and the two quickly fell in love. They married in 2001 and started a family. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. 2 beautiful sons, a cozy home, and an active role in their church. But cracks began to show early on. Josh was controlling, manipulative, and financially reckless. Susan confided in friends and family about her growing fears. She even recorded videos and wrote a secret will, stating that if anything happened to her, it wouldn't be an accident. On December 6, 2009, Susan attended a church service with her children. Later that evening, a neighbor visited her home. Nothing seemed amiss, but by the next morning, Susan was gone. Josh's behavior following her disappearance was nothing short of bizarre. He claimed he had taken their young sons on a spontaneous midnight camping trip in sub-freezing temperatures, an alibi that left investigators skeptical. When questioned, his answers were evasive and filled with inconsistencies. During the search, investigators discovered Susan's purse, phone, and other belongings in the house untouched. A suspicious chemical smell permeated the home, and a damp spot on the couch suggested something sinister. But without a body, the case remained frustratingly elusive. As the investigation deepened, Josh's father, Stephen Powell, came under scrutiny. A search of Stephen's home revealed a trove of disturbing materials, including voyeuristic videos and obsessive journals about Susan. Though Stephen was arrested for unrelated charges, it only added to the dark aura surrounding the family. Meanwhile, Josh's behavior grew more erratic. He moved to Washington with his sons, cutting ties with Susan's family. In a shocking twist, he filed for her $1.5 million life insurance policy, raising further suspicions. The horror culminated on February 5, 2012, when Josh killed himself and his 2 sons in a deliberate house explosion. Before igniting the fire, he locked a social worker out of the home during a supervised visit, ensuring there were no survivors. The final act extinguished any hope of finding Susan alive and left investigators grappling with unanswered questions. Susan Powell's body has never been found. Her case remains a haunting reminder of the dangers that can lurk behind closed doors. To this day, her family continues to search for answers, refusing to let her memory fade. The case stands as a chilling example of how darkness can shatter even the most ordinary lives. Story 2: The Hinterkaifeck Murders. On a cold March evening in 1922, the Gruber family and their maid were brutally murdered on their remote farmstead in Bavaria, Germany. Known as the Hinterkaifeck Murders, this case is one of the most chilling and perplexing unsolved crimes in history. The eerie details surrounding the murders, footsteps in the snow, mysterious noises, and an unshakable sense of dread, paint a picture straight out of a nightmare. The Gruber family consisted of Andreas Gruber, his wife Cecilia, their widowed daughter Victoria, and her two young children, Cecilia, 7, and Joseph, 2. They lived in seclusion on a farm surrounded by dense forests and open fields. Life on Hinterkaifeck was far from idyllic. Andreas was a domineering patriarch with a reputation for cruelty. Rumors swirled about an incestuous relationship between him and Victoria, who was believed to have had her son Joseph as a result. Adding to the tension was the family's recent history of unexplained events. Victoria had confided in neighbors about hearing strange noises from the attic. Footprints in the snow leading to the farmhouse had appeared with no corresponding tracks leading away. Though the family felt a creeping unease, they stayed put. On the evening of March 31st, 1922, something horrific occurred. Over the course of hours, the Gruber family and their maid were lured one by one into the barn and bludgeoned to death with a mattock, a farm tool. The killer then moved into the house and murdered the youngest victims, Cecilia and Joseph, as they slept in their beds. When neighbors grew concerned after days of silence from the farm, they made a grim discovery. The bodies of Andreas, Cecilia Sr., Victoria, and young Cecilia were stacked like firewood in the barn, covered with hay. Inside the house, the maid and Joseph were found lifeless, their rooms soaked in blood. The horror didn't stop at the murders. Investigators discovered that the killer had remained on the farm for several days, living among the corpses. Evidence showed that meals had been eaten, the livestock tended to, and smoke rose from the chimney. The eerie normalcy in the aftermath added a layer of dread to the already gruesome scene. Another chilling detail was found on young Cecilia's body, clumps of her own hair, seemingly pulled out in terror before her death. It suggested that she had witnessed the massacre or survived for hours before succumbing to her injuries. Police interviewed over 100 suspects, from disgruntled neighbors to Victoria's rumored lover, but no one was charged. One theory implicated the family's previous maid, who had quit just weeks earlier, claiming the house was haunted. Another pointed to Victoria's estranged lover, a local man named Lorenz Schlittenbauer, who had a motive rooted in jealousy and financial disputes. Forensic methods of the time were rudimentary, and with the crime scene contaminated by curious townspeople, crucial evidence was lost. Despite numerous theories, the true identity of the Hinterkaifeck killer remains a mystery. The Hinterkaifeck murders left a permanent scar on the region and have inspired countless theories, books, and even films. To this day, the case continues to baffle true crime enthusiasts and investigators alike. Was it a jealous lover, a disgruntled servant, or something more sinister, a drifter who vanished without a trace? The empty, desolate farm was demolished years later, but the ghost of Hinterkaifeck lingers. The story serves as a chilling reminder of how evil can infiltrate even the most secluded places, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a haunting legacy. Story 3. The disturbing case of Elisa Lam. In February 2013, the body of 21-year-old Elisa Lam was discovered in the water tank atop the infamous Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. What started as a missing person case quickly spiraled into one of the most chilling and mysterious true crime stories of the decade. From bizarre surveillance footage to haunting unanswered questions, Elisa's death remains a source of speculation and dread. Elisa Lam was a Canadian university student who had taken a solo trip to California to escape the pressures of her studies. A vibrant and creative young woman, Elisa was an avid blogger who chronicled her struggles with mental health, particularly bipolar disorder and depression. Though she faced challenges, she often expressed a desire to see the world and connect with others. In January 2013, Elisa checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown LA. The Cecil had a dark history, known for its association with serial killers like Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger, and countless suicides and mysterious deaths. Unaware of its grim reputation, Elisa planned to stay there for a few nights before continuing her journey. Elisa's last known sighting was on January 31st, 2013. When she failed to check out of the hotel and stopped contacting her family, concern grew. A police search began, but the initial investigation turned up no leads. Flyers with her picture were distributed, but Elisa seemed to have vanished into thin air. The case took a strange turn when the LAPD released security footage from the hotel's elevator. In the video, Elisa is seen behaving erratically, pressing multiple buttons, peering out of the elevator, stepping in and out, and appearing to speak to someone unseen. Her bizarre movements and the elevator's malfunctioning doors added an eerie, almost supernatural element to the case. For weeks, hotel guests complained about low water pressure, strange tasting water, and an unusual odor. On February 19th, 2013, a maintenance worker investigated the rooftop water tanks and made a horrifying discovery. Lisa's body was floating face up in one of the tanks. The circumstances of her death raised more questions than answers. To access the tanks, Elisa would have needed to bypass a locked door and an alarm system, then climb a ladder to the top. The tanks themselves were heavy and difficult to open, making it hard to believe she got there unaided. An autopsy determined that Elisa's cause of death was accidental drowning. No drugs or alcohol were found in her system, though her bipolar disorder was noted as a contributing factor. Still, the case left many unanswered questions. How did she access the rooftop? Why was she in the tank? And what explained her unsettling behavior in the elevator video? Speculation ran rampant. Some believed Elisa was experiencing a severe mental health episode. Others pointed to the hotel's dark history, theorizing that she was a victim of foul play or even a supernatural force. The elevator video fueled countless conspiracy theories, from secret experiments to paranormal encounters. Elisa's case took on an eerie significance due to its connections to other strange events. The Cecil Hotel's reputation as a site of death and despair added a macabre layer to her story. The case also bore unsettling similarities to the plot of the 2005 horror film Dark Water, in which a young girl's body is found in a water tank on the roof of a dilapidated building. Adding to the intrigue was the outbreak of tuberculosis in the area around the time of Elisa's death. The test for TB. It was called the LAMELISA, a coincidence that some found too strange to ignore. Despite the official ruling of accidental death, Elisa Lam's case continues to captivate and disturb. True crime enthusiasts, paranormal investigators, and internet sleuths alike have tried to unravel the mystery, but definitive answers remain elusive. The Cecil Hotel, now rebranded as Stay on Main, still looms over downtown LA, a silent witness to countless tragedies. For many, Elisa's story is a chilling reminder of how some mysteries refuse to be solved, leaving behind only whispers of what might have been. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode of The Story Behind the Crime, don't forget to leave a like and share it with others who love true crime with a twist. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's case. What do you think really happened? Drop your theories in the comments below and let me know if there's a case you'd like me to cover in the future. Until next time, this is the Rogue Ghost signing off. Stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next episode.